What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. You can also hop in the Discord link down below. And yes, guys, obviously you haven't seen our MCF faces here the last few days, but you know, with our Dallas Cowboys kind of laying low and unfortunately some very serious and severe weather kind of rolling through Texas and the Dallas area. Yeah. Hopefully everyone was safe out there. Yeah. The Cowboys had to switch up their plans as well, but finally we are here to discuss what's going on with, what was it that we called it in the pre-stream? Mount Cowboys? Mount Cowboys, yes.
Yeah, listen, we got, the OTAs finishing up. So, of course, a couple of things to review today. The media day was available to the practice.
Although some weather still changed things up there too.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to discuss all that injury stuff, the situation on three of these four guys. Even you can say all four of them because Trayvon Diggs also, of course, coming back from that torn ACL, not back on the field yet. So what's the deal with Mount
Cowboys?
Mount Cowboy. Everybody would like us to run the ball more. Mount Rushmore. Anyway, get it. Anyways, the point is, starting a new week, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. And let's kick it off with shouting everybody out before we dive into the Cowboy news info and them updates. So, baby, we got some, new week now, even if it's a Thursday. And we got ourselves a sponsor of the week. You know the man.
Love. It's a man, McLovin.
Yes.
Not just a sponsor of the week. You see him there representing with that Cash App King crown on his head as well.
Yes, and the man, McLovin, took over the sponsor of the week from, who was that? From Mark Hosepian, who still is holding on. 63 points as the stream boss. And, of course, the queen of the Cash App last week, Gloria, passed that along to McLovin. So he's taking over there. Mark Hosepian, though, still, like I said, still representing with 63 points on the stream boss. And, of course, the gifting membership side of things, which, again, a great way to help out the channel and the family in the chat. It was a battle. It's been a battle the last couple of months between Jet Lee 44, Jason Renfro, and Skeptical Fan. And last week, Jet Lee 44 took it over. So big shout outs to him. If anyone doesn't know, that's Jason Renfro, aka Jet Lee 44, and he's got it 6 out of the last 7 weeks. So big congrats to him. Of course, a new week now, and there's no leaders there yet. We might have to take this into next week, this stream. So it might be it's a lesser week, but next week is mandatory minicamp. So we'll definitely figure something out. If we don't crown someone this week, it'll be next week. But we also have other people on this board trying to take over the Cash App King and trying to take over that sponsor of the week. And you can see that we did have some fun on the After Dark sessions, a couple of these nights that we weren't here. So let me start off by shouting out the current leaders. And right now, it is the man that you guys know as Jet Lee 44.
Ooh, yes. Jason Renfro.
Yes, he is actually currently right there. Jet Lee 44. He is the leader in the Cash App side. He's also the leader on the overall board side, but it is very close this week once again, as it is almost every week here at MCF. And the MCF After Dark session. You definitely want to join us tonight for some fun over there after the stream. So big shout outs to those that dropped the love over there. Alice, Trent, Daniel, Barry Sports Highlights, Andrew No Filter. We had Skeptical Fan Staying Skeptical, Sco971, McLovin. We had Sparkle, which is, of course, we call Multi-Super Cockle. But, and then Dwayne Broussard with the star level membership. So again, appreciate everybody on all fronts repping the board. The board is in order currently and all up to date as we're kicking off a brand new week. But let's get it going with different ways that you can jump in here and support the channel. Different ways. The super chats through YouTube, the thanks button. You can jump in the membership like Dwayne Broussard. You can give memberships like Skeptical and Jason do. Jet Lee 44, and then of course there's 4 other ways you can do that. Like we do this in the After Dark session: PayPal, Cash App. There's 4 different ways on that side of things. What kind of gives you another goal there in the Cash App side, the Cash App crown, and of course the overall board as well.
Of course you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link. Lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat does.
Yes, and of course, close to the end of the month here, which means we're going to have that Star and Over Everything level raffle membership here. Yes, it's a monthly thing here. We got the month of May on the way to have a winner and see one of these sewn and stitched jerseys. With many different choices for you guys to pick from. We're not giving you the jersey. You're picking the jersey you want, the style. size, men, women, children sizes. So on top of the star level and over everything level members, if you are a weekly winner as a sponsor of the week, like McLovin, like Mark Hopesepian, this past month, you get entries into this raffle as well. So good luck to those that are in that. Now, let's also give those nightly shout-outs to those that rep that top level of the board, the star level, and, of course, the OE, the over-everything level. Who are they, baby?
Thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, JetLee44, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, Marissa Sparkle, The Lunatic, and over everything.
Yeah.
C. Bass.
Who will we trying to get him on this Sunday stream here? So be on the lookout for that.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Yes,
on our Cowboys.
Expect a special guest on Sunday, Mr. C. Bass, over everything, repping the boards. Now, baby, who's repping here with us tonight? It's been a while, a little bit here. It's been not much news on the Cowboy front, but we got the news updates for you tonight. So who's in the house ready to discuss these things?
Shout out to Rolando Rodriguez, much love. Stephen White in the house. Dustin Roberts, hello and hi. The man C. Bass, over everything. You know it. Scorpio, much love to you. Even you, Eastside Harold, even you.
He loves
the number one Dallas Cowboy fan.
He loves
in Houston,
listening
right?
to the Cowboys. You know it.
We have, let me see, rolling back here a little more. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Happy Thursday to you and the fam, of course.
Yes, now Friday morning.
MCF After Dark.
Better check them out tonight.
JetLee44, a.k.a. Jason Renfro. Asmodeus, much love, and yes, Mount Cowboys. Eric Wallace, hello and hi. Texas Twister, stay safe out there on the road, much love.
Yeah.
Oh, McLovin, much love, saying, hey, he's a snowflake now.
Yeah, check out. Hey, we'll talk. Check out the After Dark.
That's for a little later.
Yeah, I got my Trump discussion going on later tonight.
Freedom first, not first today, but thanks for rocking through here. And as more people come in, I'll continue to show them their shout-outs.
Yes,
give them their shout-outs.
Yes,
can't
now,
show it to them.
Big shout-outs to not the Dallas Cowboys in this case, but the Dallas Mavericks, who are now in the NBA Finals to play the Boston Celtics. They won today, destroyed the Minnesota Timberwolves. So congrats to Dallas. Again, they had the Texas Rangers in the finals. In the World Series, and won the whole thing. And then in the same basic season, in basketball, you got the Mavericks in the finals. I'm rooting for them. I hope they win the whole damn thing. And hey, the Dallas Stars, I think they're 2-2 right now. 2-2 right now. I don't know. I think they're 2-2 tomorrow they play. And that's what if the Dallas Stars get in, the hockey team also gets into the finals. And the Cowboys haven't made it to the conference championship in almost 29 years.
Yeah, we're the odd man out.
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing. And all these teams I just mentioned, I think they all have won a championship after us, in these last 28 plus years. So anyways, now, the reason I'm bringing this up because a couple nights ago when the Dallas Mavericks took an L to the Minnesota Timberwolves, almost won that game and almost swept the Timberwolves to go to the finals. They won 4-1 overall today. But the other night, Game 4, you had a couple of Dallas Cowboy players at the Dallas Maverick game. Micah Parsons, who went over and got an autographed. A jersey autographed by Dirk Nowitzki. You had Trayvon Diggs to his left. You had Osa to his right, who, of course, he's rehabbing from his injury. So all three guys were at Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals between the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. It was funny also, Trayvon Diggs was talking to Shaq on the sideline, and he said if he'd average 40 points a game today, he said, quote, easy. And the main reason was because they're small. Like, he feels that they're smaller nowadays, so he would have been able to dominate even more so.
Okay.
Micah was courtside. He was in a Luka Doncic jersey, and was also wearing blue AE1s sneakers.
I was gonna say I am not a shoe person, so
AE
I don't know.
Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh,
yeah, his signature shoe. And then after the game when Minnesota won, Anthony Edwards said, "quote I told Micah that he wears. I told him he wears a size 14, and I'll bring him back some nice shoes for Game 6." It looks like Micah ain't getting those shoes, at least in person. He was saying he was going to win back.
Might have to have those shipped to his house.
Yeah, but Micah said he said he'd bring a pair of them to Game 6. No Game 6, so Micah had to get that shipped to him. But Micah said, quote, no cap, Ant, which is AKA, of course, Anthony Edwards. He's one of my favorite players right now. He's a dog, and I agree. He's fantastic, a great dunker, and he'll get better as his career goes on. But
look,
congrats to the Mavericks.
And he was really the shining star for Minnesota, but
for the playoffs for sure. And again, congrats to the Dallas Mavericks for beating their ass finally, getting it in 5 games, 4-1 there. But basically, even after all that, he got a little flack. Micah Parsons said he wore the Anthony Edwards shoes because he is an Adidas brand ambassador, which is where Anthony Edwards is also under. It makes sense. That's why he was wearing those sneakers. But he said multiple times he's all in on the Mavericks. So it's not like he's rooting for Minnesota or anything like that. He's rooting for Dallas. He was wearing a Dallas jersey, a Luka jersey.
I think he was more supporting Anthony Edwards than he was the team that he was repping.
Right, and it's also his shoe brand, which does add to that too. I don't know if it was an excuse, but it adds to it. Anyways, that's the fun Cowboy news. Let me get to the NFL news now. NFL and NFL Films have selected the Chicago Bears to serve as this year's team on Hard Knocks. Now, you might have said, well, we talked about this a little while ago with the Giants? Yeah. Giants are also...
That's a good point.
Yeah. The first episode of this Hard Knocks with the Bears is scheduled to air Tuesday night, August 6th. Now, here's the thing, and I was looked into this. There's going to be 3 different Hard Knocks this year. There's going to be the off-season edition, which is brand new. It's free agency and the draft. It's the Giants.
Okay.
That's the Giants one. That's coming out soon.
That's going to be boring as shit. Continue.
The next one is the usual training camp one, which is, regular training camp version, which is the Bears. And then they have, of course, the one that's been new the last couple of years, which I actually like the most, which is the in-season one, which right now, the first time, it's going to follow all 4 teams in the same division. They haven't announced that yet. Just... this will be boring, the Giants one, I think. But the Giants, I gotta watch that. I want to know what the Giants are up to.
Yeah,
so
it's NFC East relevant for sure. The only reason I said it was boring is because I don't think they had a particularly good draft, and I also don't think that they did much in free agency. That was worth going crazy over.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be some things we'd like to, look into, maybe how they came to some decisions. But in the end, it's just more
we're watching a spy.
Yeah, we're spying on the NFC East. They're just have a better idea of the team we're going to play twice this year. And, we're going to try to challenge us and the Eagles for the NFC East. The Bears is the regular training camp thing. We had that a couple of years ago in the in-season version, which, again, I'm going to stress is the most fun one. They haven't chosen the division yet. It's going to be 4 teams. So that's the fun, again, TV stuff. Now, college real quick, Snoop Doggy Dogg. He announced his Arizona Bowl game, which is going to be on December 28th, will be the first CFL, college football bowl game, to give NIL money to players. So these players are going to get paid, winning or losing in that bowl of Snoop Dogg's, Arizona Bowl over there. So, that's the first time that's ever happening. Now, something that's definitely happened a lot, which is sexual allegations of misconduct to players in the NFL from women out there. 2 women are suing kicker Brandon McManus and the Jacksonville Jaguars team, alleging that McManus sexually assaulted them during the team's overseas flight to London last year. And again, remember, he's not with the Jaguars. I think he's a free agent right now, but he could still get in trouble, of course. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who allowed that to happen, I guess, on the plane flight, right?
He was still technically on the team and representing the team when it happened.
Yeah, so
allegedly.
The Jaguars would be in trouble for that, too, if that's true. Now, a guy who I've talked about last year in detail, I know there was a big issue with his injury situation, was offensive guard Dalton Risner from the Vikings. He was at the Vikings, with the Broncos, and then nobody picked him up for a while. I felt we needed maybe a guard to work on something like backup guard, whatever it was, and we kind of didn't go with that last year. He ended up going, again, the big issue with him was that people were feeling he couldn't stay healthy for a whole season. I think right at the beginning of the year, the Vikings signed him, and he stayed kind of healthy the whole year. The Vikings today re-signed him, veteran guard Dalton Risner, on a 1-year deal with the signing bonus. I don't know what the numbers are yet, but the point is he's going to have a per-game bonus and a 53-man bonus as well as incentives if he's the majority of the season starter at guard. So, again, a very good... if we had gotten something like him, he would have been just like a little above average, I would say. Health concerns, perfect for the Joneses. It would have been cheap. And again, it sounds like another cheap deal here the Vikings got out of Dalton Risner. Do we really need a guard? I guess not really when you have Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass and others that are playing there. Some rookies now last year. So we got some guys that can play there. But my point is, it's just more of, at the time, that felt like a good need to pick up, a value pick. And the Cowboys, that scared the shit out of me. The Cowboys, let it go. But again, just an idea. That's the snapshot of what would have happened to him. Not too expensive for Dalton Risner. Vikings said last year worked out. We're going to do it again this year. And I see Scorpio, much love to the man Scorpio, in the Navy Blue crew for 9 months. What did the man say here for us?
The last Cowboy baby.
Yeah,
he said, I have a good feeling about this season. We have a healthy O-line for the first time in years. We drafted to stop the run, And we have a strong defense. Let's fucking go.
Hey, I hear you for sure. For sure, Scorpio. I got to stay skeptical because we haven't seen these guys yet, because they are rookies, because there's still injuries, things that could happen, anything could derail the season, and I'm just not really sure if we're as good as we were last year at this time. But throughout the year, we might get better than we were last year at that time.
Post draft, just because again, at least the Cowboys did, I think, strike a great balance between picking for things that we need right now, while also still again investing in some of those positions that we need some long-term investments in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like the way that they have so far handled pretty much everything outside of, like we've said, those one or two free agent acquisitions that we feel like are the real cherry on top for any team,
I hear you.
Just saying, our draft did not fill every hole.
Well, I'm trying to say, at the very minimum, I agree with that. But the Cowboys should have done more than just get a couple new free agents. There was other things the Cowboys, I think, missed on, whether it was moving around the draft, getting certain guys in the draft, and then making some other moves. And I'm not saying it was even a bad draft. I'm just saying there was other options for the Cowboys I think maybe could have been better. Other moves they could have made to either get more picks or trade up or whatever it may be to get a better quality long-term guy.
Seabass said Dallas has less than what they had last season.
That's my point. At this stage, we're not as good as we were last year. That's a fact, in my opinion.
I agree.
But by week 10 or 12, with these rookies and second-year, third-year guys stepping up, if they do, we'll be better than we were last year at that time in week 12. Well, I think we'll be better than we were this past season in week 12 if these guys can stay healthy and step up. But that's a big if. There's a lot of ifs there.
There's a small delusional part of me that's like really hoping that we somehow get surprised by the Dallas Cowboys in some crazy free agent situation.
Well, again, we will pick up a couple more free agents, but it's not going to be anybody that's going to be, I think, ground. Even if we get Calais Campbell, which I doubt, it's still not groundbreaking. It's going to help, but it's not like the moves that the other teams above us, like the Eagles and the Niners, are around us. They all made moves to get better in a bigger way. We didn't. We just sat there with more money and did nothing, and did a lot less. And that's my issue. Especially that, to me, it's almost like they're making this a half a rebuilding year. You do a half rebuilding year, you're kind of screwing up not just this year, but the next couple too, with this kind of way of doing things. And it hasn't worked for 28 years. Whatever their transfer of power throughout each season, it doesn't work. 28 years, it's failed. So I have to see it. I have to see it before I can believe it. That's just me. Now, let's get back on track here. Much love to Scorpio. And Mark's down to 62 points. On that stream, boss. So
still repping at tight end.
He's still holding on there. He's still holding on. So, restricted free agent, Jawan Jennings, wide receiver, officially signing a 2-year deal with the Niners, worth up to $15.4 million. So, about 7.5, little over that. It includes a $10.5 million guaranteed portion. The deal was, done yesterday. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. But the point is that the Niners are always trying to see what's going on at receiver, because they got the Brandon Ayuk situation. He's still hanging out there as a guy not very happy with them. How about a little running back named Tariq Cohen? I had talked about him a couple weeks ago. He's kind of cleared medically to be picked up by somebody. He hasn't played like in 2.5 years. The Jets officially signed free agent running back Tariq Cohen to a 1-year deal. He was one of the NFL's top return specialists. Remember, we got a new return situation going on, right? He was also a huge receiving threat out of the backfield before those injuries derailed his career. Cohen last played in the NFL in 2020, so I'm going to say 4 years ago. But now he's going to have an attempt with a comeback with the Jets starting this year. We'll see how he does. I hope he does well. But again, he's a guy that I know definitely, had a chance to, be picked up even by the Cowboys this year. Even as a long shot, he would, if he can even be half of what he was, he'd be better than Deuce Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, but I don't think he's ever going to be to that level anymore. So we'll have, it's a chance you take, and the Jets took that chance. Now, a guy who I really think we should get even now is Isaiah Buggs, until I heard what he just did. Yeah, Isaiah Buggs, he's a nose tackle. All right, formerly of the Chiefs and of the Detroit Lions. Before that, there were 2 misdemeanor warrants filed against him in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama, on charges of cruelty to dogs in the 2nd degree. Now, according to the documents, the police department received a report that 2 dogs are being left on the back porch of a home rented by Isaiah Buggs. Officers and animal control found a gray and white pit bull and a black Rottweiler on a screened-in back porch with no access to food or water. Both dogs appeared malnourished, neglected, and the residence was abandoned, which is where Buggs recently moved away from that house.
Jesus, so he just left the dogs?
He just left the dogs there, yeah. So both these dogs were seized. The pit bull had to be put down, had to be euthanized. But Isaiah Buggs is 27 years old, played 3 years with the Steelers, then 2 with the Lions before he joined the Chiefs when he was released in the off, before the end of the season. I think he was released. I said, let's go pick him up. He's a solid defensive nose tackle lineman. So again, he joined the Chiefs in January as a practice squad player, and of course won a Super Bowl ring. They then re-signed him to a futures contract in February. But again, just because he's on a futures contract, he could be plucked off from that. So I would keep an eye on him. If he's in the NFL, I don't know what's going to happen.
The thing is look, there's lots of very divisive issues out there, right? All sorts of things keeping us maybe on one side or another. But I feel like one of those few things that everybody can freaking agree on: don't abuse animals. Don't abuse animals. That's messed up.
Yeah, and by the way, for the end of this, not the end, but the next part of the story today, he actually turned himself in to the Tuscaloosa and was taken to the Tuscaloosa County Jail after the mistreatment of these 2 dogs. So, anyways, that's his situation. Not a big fan of the guy, but I'm a fan for his ability to play football as a defensive tackle that we need. And again, we'll see how this thing happens with these dogs. I mean, an asshole for sure.
An unfortunate bullet dodge in the sense that we would have liked to pick him up, but definitely not with all that. Or
cheaper
on the
price.
flip side, unfortunately, Jerry says this is my chance.
Yeah.
Has he ever found a football player in the discount bargain bin that he wasn't tempted to take home at least once?
No, yeah, he was. He's
done that out there.
He definitely, we'll be looking for him as a bargain basement deal.
By the way, shout out Burn Bar. Now, Scorpio said, in my opinion, this was a very good draft that has addressed all areas of concern. So, Seabass saying POS dogs matter more than most humans. Agreed. So
he's a piece of shit for doing that to those dogs.
And Stephen White, we never said every free agent belongs here. Again, even we don't have room for every single one of them. No, we don't want the crappy ones. We want the ones that fill the holes that still need filling.
The point is that the Eagles and Niners, they power up. They stack on positions that are important, that they get depth from, that they have starters, that they get starters in, and they pay what's needed to pay to get guys in there. And the Niners been in the Super Bowl. They've been the Eagles been in these guys. These teams are managed properly.
Even include the Chiefs in that.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's not like they're only resting on their Patrick Mahomes laurels, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I'm just saying, all the teams that are consistently in the last 5 years top contenders are all doing similar things when it comes to balancing draft stuff while still acquiring quality free agents. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean spending all their money, but they spend something, not just $1.
The Eagles, other teams, they've spent money, but the point is, and the money they are limited in, but they're trying to win now. And they tried to win last year, and 2 years ago they made the Super Bowl. 6 years ago they won a Super Bowl. I'm just saying, the Rams are the same thing, the Chiefs, the Niners, and we're the ones that are not doing that and are falling by the wayside every year in the playoffs by 3 years in a row, 12 wins. Who gives a shit, right? So anyway, look, let me get back to focus, because part of the problem is the front office, as we said, always is foundational. And just to add a little bit of proof to that, we might hate Dan Quinn for maybe looking ahead and looking into the job, but guys, as I've been saying, and I said it last week, Bobby Wagner would have been a Cowboy easily for like $8 million. If, $8 to $10 million. But the Joneses refused to sign him. And that would have been a perfect match, in my opinion, with a Dan Quinn, who was his former coach in Seattle. And again, he played for the Rams. He was a leading tackler in the NFL last year, even as the older age of a Pro Bowler. So
I almost wish I didn't know that.
a $8 to $10 million guy who's a Pro Bowler and a leading tackler in the league. Yeah, I think that means it's a good deal. So agree. The Cowboys missed on that, but why? Was it just, was it Dan Quinn didn't want him? Was it? No. Bobby Wagner said, quote, "I have a ton of respect for Dan Quinn from afar. We actually tried to make it happen a couple of times. It just didn't work out structurally from a contract perspective. We finally got it right in Washington." Quinn has been, as a person, as a leader, has always been amazing. So again, and then they asked him, why didn't it ever end up, he never ended up in Dallas for those 3 years of Quinn, and he said, quote, "You got to ask the Cowboys there," end quote. So do not blame, Dan Quinn for not bringing in Bobby Wagner. That's the Joneses' fault. And I said that from the beginning. When this happened, I said...
I can't even remember the comments that Bobby Wagner made, but I and I don't want to assume either. I just remember that. Just saying, like in previous comments when he's made. But I'm almost positive. I swear he was one of those people who said that the Cowboys never reached out to him.
I don't know. I don't know if he was.
That's what I'm saying. I can't quite remember if that was the case.
Von Miller, I know, was one of the guys, but he's in his own troubles. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Wagner, he just is a guy that was always there, solid, would have been great under Dan Quinn for 2-3 years, whatever it was. Again, remember, Wagner has been a free agent in each of the last 3 off seasons. Mm-hmm. Last year, Dallas had supposedly, you kind of said this, but we had initial conversations. That's what the Cowboys said. But negotiations never got off the ground. Wagner ended up returning to Seattle on a 1-year deal after the Rams went to Seattle. So the Cowboys were also in on Wagner supposedly through the Dan Quinn side of things in 2022 as well. But they quickly dropped out of the money sweepstakes because he ended up signing a 5-year, $50 million deal with the Rams. So $10 million a year at the very least was what he was getting. So again, that was in 2022. 2023 he was getting like $8 million, $7 million a year. So Cowboys missed out on all those opportunities while the Washington Commanders listened to their coach and they said, all right, Dan Quinn, you need him? We're going to bring him in. He was a Pro Bowler, and they got him for relatively cheap. So I'm not blaming the Dan Quinn or the Cowboy players or the coaches for not getting Bobby Wagner. It's a simple blame on that specific situation, and they get a lot of the blame because they deserve it. It's the fucking clown show. Case closed. Plain and simple. Facts. Now, I'm still in NFL news here. I'm so behind. The Chiefs right now have considered not using Harrison Butker, the kicker, for all their kickoffs. And they're instead using a player like safety Justin Reed, who's a safety. He's a defensive player. He could also kick the ball. He's hit field goals from far. But here's the deal, guys. Why are they thinking of using someone different? Harrison Butker, are they punishing him for his comments at the Catholic school? No. It's the new kickoff rules, guys. Special teams coordinator Dave Tube said that the new kickoff rule, if you guys forgot it, there it is. The new kickoff rule has kickers now have to be more involved in tackling. They just can't be waiting and let the guy run through them. They don't want Butker going into her tackle and getting hurt, so they're using a defensive safety, a Justin Reed who can kick kickoffs. Mm-hmm. Great, no problem kicking kicks, field goals, extra points, but kickoff specifically, he'll do that because he's a defensive tackler. He's a defensive player that tackles players, while Butker cannot afford to be hurt tackling someone, or really can't tackle anyone, let's be honest. So it's definitely interesting the way things are going to change, and I'm going to tell you about changes for our side of things because we have a little information about our kickoff situation as well. This new alignment change you can see here where they kick off and get the ball. I'm not going to go through it. You guys already heard us talk about it, but you have to. It's about not only being able to finesse the ball into the proper location between the 20 there and the goal line. You just don't kick the ball out of the stadium either, right? You have to be everybody has to be willing tacklers. So that adds to it. You want a good tackler, like a defensive player, or you want a kicker as a tackler. Very interesting situation. If you're a defensive player who can run, kick, and tackle, you might be the kicker on your team there. And that's why the Cowboys might have someone that can do kickoffs. That can be a defensive player as well. Much love to El Cuco. El Cuco in the house.
Ooh,
first drop from El Cuco. Yes,
that's right. Thank you very much for the $5 holler, cracking up with a Go Cowboys.
Woo, much love. The first drop of the night. Where we got Marco Seppian at, baby?
That's right. He's at 57 points. So, hey, there we go. We went from a tight end to linebacker. So, although, honestly, at this point, can't even... Yeah, all the numbers are just whatever the heck you want them to be. So, for me, they're always going to be the old school numbers, designations, and all that. But, yes, thank you again, Kukul. Adding up there on the board. Let me go ahead and read a few of these comments. Now, Mr. Seabass said, Turpin and Deuce. I can't speak for all Cowboy fans, but let me tell you, some of the fans at work for me are super ecstatic to see this new special teams play ruling because these two are going to flourish. Honestly, I'm seeing that as a very hidden potential, like ace up our sleeve type of thing. When our offense is, maybe struggling, maybe having some question marks, maybe figuring things out still in those early weeks. I'm really hoping special teams can come through and ease the way, right? Give us some good position, maybe put some points on the board, but I'm asking for too much there, huh?
Well, to me, it's more about, number one, we got to stop returns on kickoffs. That's the important thing. And I think we're focusing on the return game, yes, when it comes to Turpin and Deuce Vaughn. We got two guys that can definitely do some damage like that. I'm interested to see not just how the Cowboys do it, but how all these teams do it. And it's going to be shown in the preseason. It's going to be, we're going to see all these teams try different shit.
I feel like we have a bit of a, I don't want to say leg up, an inside scoop, but whatever you want to do. Because
leg up,
Bones is the one who kind of pushes to the forefront. So I have a feeling he's got a plan to how to handle that.
Yeah. No, he already spoke about it.
Leg up on the competition.
Yeah.
I think I get for much love.
He already spoke about it, actually. And he does say he's got some tricks and things he's going to change up. Like we're going to be using defensive linemen on kickoff returns, and some of these guys tight ends for blocking and tackling on both sides.
I swear Sam Williams has definitely been on special teams.
Oh yeah, no, he's been the gunner.
Yeah,
but now he's definitely a special teams guy here. Special teams takes a new name now. There's a new thing now for special teams. It's going to be much different and much more important.
So
on the offensive, you used to never have offensive linemen, but now you may have athletic offensive linemen on kickoff returns because you can build a wall. And that's something that's kind of new there because now they're so close to each other. It's almost like there's the trenches on kickoffs. So that's kind of changing the thought process on maybe building a wall, making like popping open a little bit of a hole there for one of your two returners to break through. So we shall see. I got more info on this though coming up. I do want to switch it over to what Amari Cooper said. From the Browns, wide receiver of the Browns, former Cowboy. He said he never called quarterback Dak Prescott, quote, the Black Kirk Cousins.
I remember that.
He said that Dak helped, quote, revive my career, end quote. And most of those Randall Cobbs and these other guys that have come through the Cowboys, they say the same thing about Dak Prescott. Dak's only helped them, not hurt them. So again, the Black Kirk Cousins comment was allegedly said like 2 years ago in the offseason before Amari was released, and that he's not released but traded. It was from the beginning. We all told you guys here, if you've been watching, that was bullshit. It came from a fake website, but people took that and ran, especially the Dak haters, because they just can't help themselves. So any bad news about Dak, they think they've got to spread it like fire, and they were anyway did that. It spread so far that people believed it. It was a completely fake story, and Amari today squelched those fires as far as bullshit when it comes to talking shit about his old.
That because I know he said something when it first came out, basically saying no, I never said that. So. Yeah,
he was more adamant this time.
No, I never said that.
Now, also, by the way, a little fun side of things. DeMarcus Lawrence throwing out the first pitch for the world champion Texas Rangers. Yes, he did that. And again, I don't think it was a very good pitch. You could check the shorts that I posted there about him throwing that pitch. But it was he had a good form and everything, but the pitch looked down and to the left and like way down. So anyways, now one last piece of news was now we're going to get into our Cowboy news here. I know it was a big NFL kind of bunch of news the last couple of days, and there's still a little bit left, but let me go into like the free agency stuff and really the stuff about Ceedee Lamb in reference to him. There's 2 wide receiver deals that were done the last couple of days that some people are saying does it make a difference for his contract, or does it at least add pressure? I think it adds some pressure, but I think that it doesn't really do anything to his contract. Let me explain. Nico Collins, where's Eastside Harold? Wide receiver for the Texans was signed to a 3-year, $72.75 million extension, and $52 million of that is guaranteed.
Oh, Charlie Ingram.
Yes.
Thank you for summing it up. Appreciate you.
Yes, welcome to the family. Go Cowboys, Charlie. So, but Nico Collins signed $72.75 million on a 3-year deal, $52 million guaranteed. And then there was another deal done yesterday, or I think it was this morning. Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins, guys. Miami Dolphins and wide receiver Jalen Waddle reached an agreement today on a 3-year, $84.75 million contract extension. Now, this includes $76 million in guarantees, and the deal makes Waddle one of the highest paid receivers, a top 5 highest paid receiver right now for Jalen Waddle. He's averaging $28.25 million a year. All right, and the other receivers currently still waiting for their deals this offseason. T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Jamar Chase, and then Ceedee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So a lot of big names still waiting. None of these guys, I think Ceedee and Justin are going to be the top guys there.
It's actually kind of crazy that one or the other one hasn't gone yet, just because
I feel like it's going from the bottom up a little bit here.
That's the part that seems a little bit weird, because usually it does go the other way around, and it feels like things start opening up after like one of the big players has been signed, and now the market knows, like, okay, this is the limit. You know what I mean? Like, this is our ceiling. Let's go find the basement.
I'm pretty sure A.J. Brown is $32 million a year, and that's the most for a receiver in history. So that's going to be bypassed by Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. I just don't know how much. That's the thing. That's why I don't think this really does anything to CeeDee's contract. It just reinforces it's going to be over $30 million. We already know it's going to be over 32 because it's going to be more than A.J. Brown. So it doesn't. I don't think it affects CeeDee Lamb's contract at all. This is not even CeeDee Lamb's market.
Yeah.
Like, this is the $28 million range. He's in the 30 plus, easy, 32 plus, right? So some people are saying this is a big deal, and at this point, it would have been a big deal if we could have had CeeDee for 28 point whatever last year if we had done this deal, but the Cowboys chose not to, and now we're paying the piper. That's just the way it's going to be, or we lose CeeDee Lamb, which would be horrific. Now, CeeDee Lamb was out there, and I don't know if you guys saw the shorts that I put out there as well. CeeDee Lamb doing some work, not with the Cowboy OTAs, but with his, kind of offseason route and receiver coach, Delphonte Diamond. He was working with not just with CeeDee Lamb, but with his CeeDee Lamb's cousin, right? I mean, we got Keon Coleman, his family member there, working with him as well. So he's still putting in the work, really looking good out there, smooth cuts and moves. And you see both guys, him and the rookie, Keon Coleman, huge difference, in my opinion, in the way they try to be shifty and kind of flow with running routes. There's no, obviously, 4 years of CeeDee Lamb being in 5 years, I guess now, in the NFL and doing this, it's a huge difference in a rookie coming in. Obviously, no contest there. But Keon Coleman should be a great receiver. Now, another fact for CeeDee Lamb, he's the best rushing receiver in Cowboys history already.
I mean, that's obviously tremendous.
43 attempts for him. That's number one for the Cowboys. 316 yards. And remember, this has to be only from a receiver. 43 rushing attempts. That's number one for the Cowboy history. 318 rushing yards in his career. That's also number one for the Cowboys in our history for a receiver. 3 rushing touchdowns. That's number one. 17 rushing first downs. That's also number one in our history for a receiver. And a 67.4 success percentage, which is, again, when you're running the ball, that's a percentage of success you have. 64, almost 60, almost 70%. Let's just say that. That's the best among receivers within a minimum of 10 carries in our history. So receivers that run, here he is, CeeDee Lamb, number one. And so, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this, as we're getting close to June 1st, and we are getting some money back, right? The Cowboys designated Michael Gallup as a post-June 1st cut. So it's going to free up about $9.5 million in cap space, all right? That's going to come on to the Cowboys cap on Sunday.
Okay.
Could that money already be set aside for someone else out there, a free agent, or because we know the rookie money's been taken? That's probably taken up now. So this is now replacing that.
Do the Cowboys have that next, chunk kind of earmarked for something in particular,
or is it for CeeDee Lamb? So I don't know. I really need to do that like that. It's not really a need to do that, but I guess that could be the excuse the Cowboys will say, oh, now we got our June 1st money. Now we can get CeeDee Lamb, which is complete bullshit, by the way. But, yeah, that's what the Cowboy front office might just do. So maybe it does open up the opportunity to at least get CeeDee Lamb signed in here before training camp starts, right? Now, right now in OTAs, guess who's not there? CeeDee Lamb. And he's not going to be there, guys. We know this. Mandatory minicamp next week. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But there's some new OTA rules that are maybe coming around the corner. That's why it's not. I'm still kind of on the NFL news side of things. We're kind of merging it together, but this is relevant to the Cowboys and every team.
Yeah, more directly Cowboy Jason.
Well, yeah, because of, I guess, CeeDee Lamb and stuff. But and also, Mike McCarthy was asked about this here in a minute. But is this the end of the OTAs? I know these 3 phases. The NFL Players Association is working to finalize a proposal to try to overhaul the off-season kind of start, and that they're trying to do that. They're trying to overhaul the offseason, and they're trying to do that by next year, early as next year. So what they want to do is eliminate voluntary on-field work in the spring in favor of having a longer training camp ramp-up with players reporting, let's say, in mid-June to early July. So instead of going from, like, April to, like, the early part of June, I guess not April, I guess May, to the early part of June, they're thinking of taking that time and maybe connecting it more with training camp without having that break in a way. So now you're reporting to kind of a training camp thing.
Seems better from a continuity standpoint.
Instead of the end of July, middle of June, that's a month and a half, right? Or I guess about a month and a half there. So to me, that seems to work okay. The players, like you said, continuity, that's a good thing. The players union, have been seeking feedback on this plan from players. The majority support this change. A formal proposal is expected this summer. Off-season work rules are collectively bargained CBA, and any changes will have to require an agreement with the NFL to reopen them. Under this new leadership with the NFL Player Association, they have consulted with medical and performance experts in hopes of creating a common sense solution for reducing injuries, maximizing players' recovery time, virtual classroom work, which would still be permitted in the spring, but the players don't want practice until camp. They don't want these OTAs as much anymore. NFL players also are pushing for revised offseason. This is not directly tied to the 18-game season the owners want, but it is worth noting that a longer schedule would further shorten the time between the season and training camp. Another reason why kind of putting these players' time off into one long break would make more sense. So basically what they're saying is that, and I'm going to predict this, the reason this talk is on for the offseason stuff and OTAs is because they know that the owners want to open this up for 18-game season. So while the players need to get compensated and get the salary cap stuff done, even though they're saying it's a different situation, is it really though? Because if it's going to open up, the players are going to try to get something they want too. So it's kind of like, hey, give up a little of this, you give up a little bit of that, we still make amends, and still we both sides still make out and making money. And but again, players want a longer break and no OTAs in between. Yeah. Now the NFL push here for I'm sorry, I just want to say one last thing here is that, putting this with the end of the season ending now almost like the middle of February, that's why they want to kind of consolidate that time to be more, what'd you say?
Like consecutive?
Yeah, not
right?
consecutive, but kind of like
concurrent?
Well, it's more like the offensive line term. I forgot the
continuity.
Continuity, yes, of having the season.
Took me a second to figure out which word I was going for there.
The season ending. And then the players kind of can break and not have to worry about going back for strength and conditioning right away, or OTAs, and could be issues there.
Especially when you're talking about again that double-edged sword of our draft.
Yep.
I love some of the picks we made, but holy crap, trusting rookies to such important positions. That's several spots on the O-line or the D. Oh, man,
the thing is that with them not being there, it delays their learning curve to get going. So that could be an issue. Maybe rookies are allowed to come in early. I don't know what they're going to do. But basically the idea is to roll an extended OTA style ramp up. So the OTAs would be just touching the training camp time. That month and a half would be OTAs, and then go right, instead of taking a break, go right into training camp. The strength and conditioning, the non-padded work, that stuff will go first. That stuff will be in the first weeks of it. And then they'll get like a whole month of what you're seeing now. And then they'll go into training camp, kind of more hitting training camp without a 6-week break and de-escalation. So that'd be a major change how things run. And McCarthy actually said something about that. But, as these OTAs are kicking off, right? The Cowboys were going to kick it off on Tuesday. Monday, yes, but Tuesday was their first on the field kind of OTA for the week this week. The Cowboys had to cancel that. So when you talk about OTAs, there's a change. The Cowboys canceled in-person team activities on Tuesday. Why? It was a storm, as you guys already know, that live in North Texas there. High wind storm ravaged parts of North Texas. And of course, just like other places in the area, Frisco had no power for a long period of time, and neither did the Star. I think the generators had put the power back up, but for the most part, they were not able to practice.
Running on backup energy there.
Yeah, they were not able to practice. So the second week of OTAs now happened to start on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. So again, I'm just going to tell you this because there was no media there or in any reports of what's going on. Of course, there was no practice on Tuesday. Wednesday was a practice, and I'll tell you more what happened because they spoke on that today. But nobody really knew what happened. We just know that Micah's supposed to be there. We know Ceedee wasn't going to be there, and that's kind of the situation. Now, a new coach for the Cowboys. Quick little kind of, if you saw one of our shorts, you know who it is. The Cowboys, first off, on last week, we hosted Baylor coaches at our OTA practice last week. We actually had some guys come in now for this OTA, but I'll explain that in a minute. We signed former longtime Bengals defensive tackle, Damata Peko. He is not playing for us, guys. We hired him as part of our coaching staff in some capacity, but I know by looking at everything, he's working with Greg Ellis, the assistant defensive line coach. He's working with Jeff Zaganina, and who's our defensive line coach, and of course under Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator. So he is going to be another assistant coach. They're working alongside Greg Ellis on the defensive line. Mike Zimmer. Again, there's a connection here with Mike Zimmer because that's another former player that he had under his wing as an assistant coach. As an assistant coach with the Bengals, or a defensive coordinator with the Bengals. He was coaching him, Pecco. So he knows him from his coaching days with the Cincinnati Bengals. He played 6 years under Zimmer with the Bengals, and he's going to help out on a defensive line. Also, playing under Zimmer for 6 years in Cincinnati. Of course, he's retired and officially with the Cowboys staff. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm just giving you the insight there that the Mata Pico is a Cowboy defensive line assistant coach. Now, before we get to Mike McCarthy, there was an interesting little... actually, let me finish this because the NFLPA thing that we discussed, the players, they want to make these OTAs kind of concurrent with touching with training camp and have no break. Well, Mike McCarthy actually spoke today, and I'll touch on this first since we spoke about that already. And let me get it real quick, guys. Give me 1 second here.
It's all right, because you know what time it is? Time for everybody to remember. Hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord, of course. Links in the description box down below. Thank you very much to the sponsor of the weekend, the Cash App King, McLovin, showing the love. A mahalo to Marco Seppian, bossing that stream around. And thank you, of course, to JetLee44 for being these gifted membership king. There we go.
Yeah, gifting membership king, yes. So, by the way, there he is, Mike McCarthy. He spoke today, and again, he talked about the NFLPA reportedly wanting to scrap this spring workout OTAs and bring it to kind of a elongated ramp-up training camp for a month and a half before training camp. And he said, quote, "That's a hypothetical I hope doesn't happen." And I think the main reason for that is the reason I brought up rookies, players that are new to the team. They got to get in a scheme. They got to learn it. If you start learning it right before training camp, it gives you less time to really feed these players the information. Now, they're going to let these players still learn in classroom and kind of virtual kind of meetings and stuff, but it's not the same thing as being in the field and kind of walking them through stuff. So I think that's the coaching issue that they have, the coaches, with this thing kind of not starting earlier so they can get these things, instilled, schemes instilled, and players knowing what they're doing in their roles with the team. So, there's two sides to this, so that's what he thought. Now, the first real question he was asked, though, was about him being named one of the top 10 hottest coaches in the NFL. So there was the top 10 list of the most attractive NFL coaches. They were ranked by their beauty score. Robert Saleh was number 1. Kyle Shanahan number 2. Sean McVay number 3. Mike McDaniel 4. Andy Reid 5th. Mike McCarthy was 6th on this list. Some ugly-ass coaches, I guess. Hey. Kevin Stefanski 7th and Dave Canales from the Carolina Panthers 8th. McCarthy got a 7.3 beauty score, and he's, of course, 48 years old. So... I'm sorry, he looks like he's 48 years old. Let me put it that way. That's their predicted score, I think. But look, the point here is it was David Moore from Dallas Morning News that had kind of compiled this and did this rating system. He asked McCarthy for his thoughts on being named one of the top 10 hottest coaches in the NFL. And McCarthy just kind of cracked up, and he said, quote, "Really?" He goes, "That's big time. It's about time you guys got something right." End quote. So... he's laughing it up, kicking off today's OTAs. I just a little shocked he's even in the top 10. I don't know. I'm not. Baby, what do you think? I mean, you'd be more knowledgeable about this.
Top 10. What the heck do the rest of the coaches look like? I guess that's
Andy Reid's on the list. I don't know what to say.
Look, so I guess some people are really into the walrus look. Maybe the NFL has more furries than you think.
Seabass said, "How did Andy Reid get on that?" I'm with you. I don't know. Beauty score.
Did they ask actual living, breathing women?
I don't know how they did this thing. I don't know if I want to know.
This sounds like some weird AI answer.
It does. Now,
right? Even Raul is like, McCarthy.
I'm 6th out of 32.
Oh, look. Like I said, maybe he's got a great personality, I'm sure. Great personality. Yeah, I don't know. Where is LaFleur?
Was he fired?
No, just where is he on that list?
Not LaFleur. Who's the coach for...
Isn't he the coach for...
Why am I not remembering?
Oh my God, Green Bay. No?
Oh, yeah.
Or am I misremembering?
I don't know why I'm forgetting it.
I swear it's Green Bay.
I keep thinking Tennessee. Who's the Tennessee guy that no one wants to hire? Vrabel. Okay,
Vrabel,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I swear it's Green Bay. I could be wrong. But anyway. Yeah. But yeah, he's a little bit Who was it that won first again? Soleil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert Soleil. Yeah, that's my mom's favorite. So
true. That one makes sense. That one actually makes sense. Like him and McVay should probably be at the top.
Yeah, McVay was third, I think.
All right.
So, anyways, now on to football. Forget that beauty score shit. Let's go to football here. And so, what was the situation? This was today before the practice for the Cowboys. McCarthy kind of spoke about yesterday's practice. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have practice on Tuesday. No one knows what happened on Wednesday until this morning when McCarthy spoke about the practice from yesterday. Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, all there working. Mike McCarthy said he feels really good about his quarterback room. On Trey Lance specifically, he said, quote, he was on a learning curve, but now he is starting to get the timing right. And he also said that he reiterated, he, quote, definitely seen significant progress from Trey Lance. Now, he said, quote, now he's starting to get the timing with the routes. He's close to being a master of the system, and he has a really high understanding. He just needs more reps. I know that I give that answer every time, but he just needs more reps, and he will get those in the preseason.
Yeah,
so,
it sounds like the Cowboys are definitely already excited about the potential with Trey Lance.
I just want to add, do you think that maybe that is why the Cowboys truly are not paying Dak yet until maybe into the season to see where Trey Lance falls on things? I'm just asking. I got to ask.
Look, never say never. I can't completely rule it out, which is the most that I'll give you there. In the sense that I think it's unlikely. I can't really see them doing it. I can't fully rule it out. The potential is there, and the way they're moving, you, like I said, can't really say they didn't. So
now he also talked about the running back situation for the Cowboys, which involves, of course, Ezekiel Elliott here. Let me put him with number 15 because that's what he's wearing out there. Now, according to McCarthy, Zeke has been reacclimated in the Cowboys scheme very nicely over the course of the last month. And a lot of good, solid reviews by the coaches and the coaching staff. According to McCarthy, quote, in a lot of ways, it feels like Zeke never left. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what McCarthy said. Now, there's also other guys out there. We'll go back to Zeke in a minute, but there's injuries going on because we saw Osa Odigizua last week kind of was injured off to the side during the OTAs last week. He had some kind of hip injury. McCarthy implies there's no major concern, citing that his absence is more for keeping him fresh for the long run. So it just means, hey, we just want him fully ready to participate in mandatory minicamp or training camp. So the Osa injury, nothing major, which is good to know. Okay, we got to get these updates, right? But we know there's a player that's supposed to be returning this week, right? And his name is Micah Parsons. I'm sure there he is. So Micah Parsons.
AE shoes.
Yeah. Well, he didn't go. He went with cleats. But again, was he with cleats though? Because this Cowboy star, Micah Parsons, returning this week. This was the expectation, all right? And, it's going to be coming back, not Tuesday, but came back Wednesday. Cowboys were, ready to begin on Tuesday for the OTAs, but the weather stopped it that day. Not a surprise that he was not at the first round of OTAs. Maybe some people are saying it's more surprising that he's even returning for the second set of OTAs. Some people say he shouldn't even come back with the fact that he still needs, he's still looking for the contract extension, and this is all voluntary. So, McCarthy's last week expressed, no concern about Parsons' absence. And he said that, Micah and the coaching staff had a direct line of communication and was even in the facility over the weekend before that last week. So he was at the Cowboys facility like a week and a half ago. And they have a direct line of communication with him. Now, what happened was he at the Star on Wednesday, and Micah officially was at the Star on Wednesday. You know what else? I see Jet Li in the house. I see on my screen. Oh, that didn't scare me that time. I see the Orion Files getting that membership, the Navy Blue crew. Thank you to Jason Renfro.
Orion, and much love. Yes, the man formerly known as Jason Renfro, Jet Li 44. Gifting that membership, sharing and showing the love here on the MCF side of things. He's
already the leader on the board this week. Now he's the gifting leader, trying to get 7 out of the last 8 weeks. Trying to go back to back like our '90s Cowboys. Much love to Jason Renfro. Let me update the board.
So, by the way, since Orion Files just got there, he also said that he would like to see Trey Lance step it up. So
he's got to step it up if he wants to try to, even be the backup right now. But it
Yeah,
sounds like he's heading that way.
I'm fully, firmly in the mindset of he's fighting for that number 2 spot and fighting to get Cooper Rush off this team. Although he'll realistically just end up as our 3rd quarterback.
Yeah, or, a practice squad possibility guy, someone like Cooper Rush. So, anyways, much love there. Jason Renfro, the second drop of the night, I guess you could say. And he's still in first place, trying to take. He's like a little bit of a bigger lead there over SCO 971. Big time shout out to Jet Lee 44. Now, let me keep it going because we got a lot of stuff here. I wanted to continue with saying what did McCarthy have to say about the fact that Micah was not there. And again, it was kind of interesting to hear the way he spoke. I really should have maybe play his tone so you can maybe get a better picture of what I'm going to mean here in a minute. But basically, let me give you a little roundabout here about what happened. Micah was at the Star on Wednesday and did not take part on the field drills. Ooh, that one got me. You got me there. Who got me there? Jason Renfro dropped another one, and this time Raul is now part of the membership, the Navy Blue Crew.
Shout out Raul. Drop him if you got him, and thank you again.
Big shout out.
Mr. Jet Lee 44, a.k.a. Jason Renfro.
As he keeps that lead and adds now a little bit more of a lead against everybody that can in the membership. You can gift memberships once you're in the membership, but Jet Lee 44 now has 2 gifted memberships, and nobody else is near him right now. So he's all by himself. The top spot again, man. He's a little mini takeover possibly, except for that stream boss. He's got everything else right now, like for the next week, So we'll see how that goes. Now, let me get back to this with Micah Parsons because Micah he showed up to the facility yesterday on Wednesday, did not take part on the field drills, but he did all of the required content for the in-game and broadcast materials. So Cowboys have to film the players, screaming or taking their helmets off or putting the helmets on. You see the highlights, you see them say their names.
Yeah, that's
the kind of stuff they were doing. They have to come in for that, and that's what Micah did on Wednesday when he did that kind of the film work and stuff there. But was there, did not take part on the field drills. So he was at the facility, but he was not really at practice. He was kind of on the sidelines in a way. He also trained with the Cowboys on Wednesday, but again, not take part any of the game-like drills or any of the drills that they had on the field. He did his own thing, guys. He did not take part on the field drills. So then that's when McCarthy kind of said what went down. They asked about that. McCarthy was asked, is Micah Parsons here today on a Thursday? Is Micah here today? He was here yesterday, not participating on the field stuff. Was he here today? Is he here today on a Thursday? And the media is here today. And McCarthy said, quote, "What do voluntary mean?" End quote. And that comes from when they asked Darren Hambrick a couple of years ago, guys. You guys remember that old quote? Mm-hmm. McCarthy referred to Darren Hambrick's quote when they asked him about being here, and he's like trying to tell everybody, "Do you guys know what voluntary means? Like that means I don't have to be here. It's voluntary." So that's kind of what McCarthy was saying about Micah Parsons. Kind of quoting him and saying, "What do voluntary mean? Like it means voluntary. It means,
it means you have the choice."
Yeah, and it sounds like Micah might not have been here. Now, Micah, last week, Micah said that he would be at the start for the voluntary OTAs this week. He was here for media day. He was, there for a little fitness workout yesterday. Today, he was not at the Cowboys facility. And McCarthy said, quote, "Listen, I'm not doing attendance. I'm not going to come up here and talk about one player when 98% of the players are here." And then they asked, well, what about the interactions with new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer? And McCarthy said, quote, "The interaction with Mike Zimmer is going on right now, and I feel fine that he'll be ready to go." The other thing was interesting, McCarthy, and we said that he'll be in good shape with the training he's doing. Micah Parsons will be in great shape. According to McCarthy, he said that Micah Parsons, quote, "looks to be in really good shape, but it's a new defense, and we have work to do. We will be ready when it's time." So again, it's interesting though because you can see there was a bother in his voice, McCarthy.
Yeah.
And Micah was not at OTAs. McCarthy was not happy about it. You can but questioning, and he had to answer these things.
Like, if you're actually hearing and seeing like the way he's saying it, you can tell he's not exactly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he said, basically McCarthy said that Micah's next challenge as to be a great player, to bring other players along with them, and Parsons kind of missing the early parts of voluntary offseason program already, not just this year, but last year also, maybe missed the opportunity to do that. That's what a question was asked of him. He said, quote, I think anytime you have a chance to be together, it's an opportunity to improve, whether it's in the mental realm, in the physical realm, which is limited, obviously, this time of year, and the emotional connection, and so forth. But, it's a long year. Training camp is really the heightened focus for all of that stuff. But, yeah, it's definitely an opportunity that's been missed. So McCarthy's literally saying that Micah Parsons has missed an opportunity to make the other players great with him and take them along with him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I don't say it's a diss. It's not really a sneak diss, but I'm just saying like it's kind of like, Micah, you had a chance to really, be a bigger part of this group and you took yourself out of it. It's almost like leadership kind of, a little bit of leadership qualities maybe not there in a way. What do you think about that, baby? I mean, that's kind of,
I mean, again, it is a difficult situation just because Micah is absolutely one of our leaders. One of the whole points of these voluntary OTAs and all that stuff, it's not just so guys, can try to stay in shape or do all that stuff. It's so the team can start to gel together, work together, talk together. It is rough, for better or for worse, Micah being a leader. Like, there's obviously a lot of good in that, but there is bad in that. And when you have one of the guys that's supposed to be like one of your pillars not there, yeah, obviously it sounds frustrating, but it could also be, and maybe I'm the crazy one here, but, McCarthy's frustration could sound like it's being directed more towards Micah, but let's put the blame where it actually lies. Because last time I checked, Micah's not the one signing his own checks. Just saying.
Well, here's the thing, though. It is his choice to be there or not. That has nothing to do with the check. So, but I know you're saying if they got a contract for him, he wasn't there last year, though. For the OTAs.
True.
But he was doing his own thing, and I know they were contract. So,
Yeah, so maybe it's more of a Micah-specific thing, which either way, again, it's voluntary. If you actually wanted the players there for real, you'd make it mandatory. So
that's the family saying as we move on. That was the end of what McCarthy said today.
Oh, man, Chuck to Montana, really much love. Hopefully everyone's okay there in that car chase, right? So, shout out to the man Montana 808, by the way. James Hurst said, don't matter if they take that next step. They don't possess the intangibles to win the postseason. Well, those things also grow and take time. And, no better time than the present, right?
I mean, they got no choice.
Aztec Aguilar Force says, Zimmer, don't mess around. I feel this defense will take the next step. Again, probably another reason why McCarthy, is frustrated about the fact that he's not there, right? Yeah. McCarthy has the most to lose this season because he knows his ass is grass otherwise. Yeah. So, anyway, that's all. All
right, well, let me continue this thing here. No Micah. We kind of done with him. We're done with old big bubble here, Mike McCarthy. Micah and Mike. But I want to say one thing before we get into the OTAs and kind of finish up tonight's stream. The Cowboys are scrimmaging the Los Angeles Rams. Last time we scrimmaged them, I think it was 2015, and it was a fucking 6-day brawl going on there.
I know.
It was crazy.
It started off okay, but ended up...
Listen, that thing was crazy.
Rough.
The Cowboys are scrimmaging the Rams in Oxnard. So we're not going to the Rams site. We're not going to, like we did in previous, with the Chargers and stuff like that. We're actually having the Rams. We went to the Broncos one year, went to the Chargers that same year. This year, the Rams are coming to Oxnard. So plan accordingly if you're going there. And they're going to be in Oxnard 3 days before we actually face the Rams in their first preseason game.
Okay.
So again, that'll be the home game for the Rams. It'll be our first game too, I think. So we're gonna go to we're gonna be in Oxnard practicing against the Rams, and then 3 days later playing them on the field in preseason.
Gotcha.
So again, the Cowboys going to this is gonna be. By the way, it's announced. It's gonna be on August 8th in Oxnard, California, during training camp. So again, August 8th is the magic number if you want to go see this scrimmage. Cowboys are playing the Rams on August 11th in the Cowboys preseason opener at SoFi Stadium, which of course keeps the Cowboys right there in Cali. It's the first joint practice. I'm sorry, since 2022. I think that one we had. I remember we had Aaron Donald in that one, didn't we? And he ripped someone's head off, a helmet off, wasn't it? Connor Williams ripped his helmet off. I think Connor McGovern. They got into a fight. I'm sorry. 2022 was the last time we had the Rams, and it did come to Oxnard. So they're coming back. But the year after that, we went to the Chargers and the Broncos, I think, that year. Anyways, the point is...
Yeah, pretty much every time they meet...
It's a fight going down.
Yeah, fists start flying.
I'm loving it. We'll probably be seeing...
Hard not to love it.
You'll probably be seeing on MCF's, we go hard on those videos in training camp and try to get you guys the best quality stuff. Expect a couple fights on that day, like we had in Denver. We didn't have it at the Chargers, actually, but Denver had a big brawl there. Expect a couple. Big shout-outs to the man leading the whole plan right now.
That's right.
Jason Renfro with the drops of love from above. Outside of El Cuco and Dwayne Broussard in the membership, Jason Renfro, a.k.a. Jet Li 44, is taking over. What did the man say with that $4.31 holla?
He said... The Mavs over the Celtics in 6. So go Mavs and get that second.
I'm with you. Let's go. Let's get that championship. And that's 2 out of the 4 teams with the championship. Stars get the championship, 3 out of the 4. And then the Cowboys, baby. Let's go. Let's run Dallas with championships from 2023 with the Rangers, 2024 with, with the Mavericks and the Stars, and 2025 February with the Cowboys, baby. That'd be a dream come true. That'd be the best time to live in Dallas and be a Dallasonian. So
by the way, Montana 808, that is awesome. He said he's going to that Browns game.
Yeah.
What better way to kick
Week
off
1,
the season?
The Amari
to
payback.
Watch our Cowboys, hopefully, return payback with interest.
Hopefully.
Oh,
so
let me see. I think I said I was at the joint practice. Connor Williams said, "Hell no, you ain't punking me, Aaron Donald."
Yeah, they went into that with that mindset. Those guys, the Connor Williams, McGoverns, or whoever. So yeah, I remember that. I do. So. That's the practice. That practice all the way in, August 8th. We had a practice today. So you had talked about this earlier, baby. Rain has gone away, right? But not any. It's back again, and not only did it stop Tuesday's practice and maybe hindered yesterday's, but it forced the Cowboys to practice inside the Ford Center today. And like I said, last week the Cowboys had Baylor personnel and coaches. This week we had University of Texas personnel members on hand to kind of take in the practice. And included Texas Director of Player Personnel, J.M. Jones. So what did he see on that field today? What did the media see? Here's what I'm going to break it down, so just follow along. These are important facts that are going to take us on here to mandatory minicamp and training camp and into the season. Tyler Guyton, a rookie. With the rest of the rookies, they are working with the second team as they get acclimated in Dallas. So do not say, are they going to all start right now? They're working with the second team. On Thursday, they continue to get acclimated. The second team unit from left to right. Tyler Guyton, Nathan Thomas, another rookie. Cooper Beebe at center. Awesome Richards at right guard. And Matt Waletzko at right tackle. So that's the way it went on the field. The first team was Chuma Edoga at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, Brock Hoffman at center, TJ Bass in Zach Martin's position. I'll explain why in a minute. And Terrence Steele on the right tackle side. Zach Martin stayed on the sideline during teamwork exactly the way he did last year in OTAs, but that was more of a contract situation, it seemed like. But just want to say offensive line work, Brock Hoffman handling the bulk of the communication when it comes to that center spot there with Dak Prescott. So right now, who's the leader at center? Brock Hoffman. He's the one that's communicating best with his lineman and Dak Prescott at center in practices right now, early in practice, right? And he's done it more than he did last year. A lot more work with Dak this year than he did last year. He's getting used to that. He's trying to stake his claim. He's trying really hard to take over and keep that center spot for himself right now. And he knows how important it is for the communication with Dak Prescott. I think we'll hear more from him tomorrow or the next day when we go live. You'll hear what Brock Hoffman had to say about his communication with Dak and getting better. But other centers that got work, TJ Bass, Cooper Beebe, and Dakota Shepley. All right? We all know these names. Shepley even. We know he's been a lot of these shows. So anyways, Jet Li in the house once again, dropping that $2 J. Lou Holla. What did the man say as he takes Marco Seppian down to 50 points on the Stream Boss?
He said, let's become the city of champions.
Hell yeah.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. That would be a miracle. Year and a half. I would take that with a big smile on my face. Much love, Mr. JR, a.k.a. Jet Li 44. So thank you for that. So what else happened? That's just the offensive line situation there. Running back by committee approach, right?
Instead of, again, I'm just saying, we're trying to do things on the offense. Instead of receiver by committee, now we're doing running back by committee.
Well, and that seems to, in this day and age, I'd say that makes more sense than the receiver by committee.
I agree.
What we did with Dak and screw Dak over.
It makes even more sense when you look at our offensive line moves in the sense of who we drafted and what the Cowboys' expectations are, what their expectations are. So,
well,
saying, like, I'm not saying I share them. I'm just saying that I can see what they're trying to do in this particular instance.
Yeah, well, I like it. I don't have a problem with it. And today, the running backs, when you looked at practice today, the running backs were in and out of first-team reps with Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and even Hunter Lipke taking the bulk of first-team opportunities. So Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and Lipke are getting reps as the number one running back. Hunter Lipke stands out to me as what the fuck.
I know.
That should not be happening, in my opinion.
He's moonlighting as a running back, I guess.
The other guys, the other running backs, I believe Royce Freeman should be given more of a chance. I want to see what he can do. Deuce Vaughn, he's not a starter. Snoop Connor, of course, not a starter. He's an undrafted guy. Nathaniel Pete, another undrafted guy. Snoop Connor was on our practice squad, I guess you can say. And Malik Davis also. These guys here, Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn, Snoop Connor, Nathaniel Pete, and Malik Davis, these other 5 running backs, they also factored into the running back, work. And they were kind of rotational, kind of situational kind of running backs. They had Lipke getting the least reps there. Rico Dowdle getting the second most, and Zeke, with Zeke there, the 2 most getting the starter reps. So if you're wondering what the rotation will look like, it's Zeke and Rico right there neck and neck with the other guys kind of filling in for different situational stuff. Another big takeaway, receiver, Jalen Brooks, guys, he continues to impress. Last year's 7th round pick, looked good in the whole season. Looked good the whole season last year, and what we've seen from him. Great catch radius today, great hands, ability to adjust to off-target throws. I don't care if it's Dak, Trey Lance, or Cooper Rush throwing an off-target throw. He adjusts. His hands are there. He's got a great radius to catch the ball. Very impressive. So Jalen Brooks is moving up. I'm telling you guys, he's right now, to me, the 4th guy on this roster when it comes to receiver, right behind, Jalen Tolbert. So keep that in mind there. Again, guys, everyone's really liking Jalen Brooks and his work on that field. So, more stuff going on. And I'm going to talk on the quarterbacks here for a second. And specifically, I'm going to start with Dak Prescott, actually, because I want to mention something here. We don't know what's going on with his contract yet, the extension, right? But Albert Breer was asked who will be the starting quarterback for the Cowboys in 2025. And he said, quote, Dak Prescott. I think eventually the Cowboys will buckle, though it's starting to feel to me a bit like Jared Goff with the Rams in 2020. That's much love there to Mr. Jet Lee 44 with the dollar holler.
Thank you so much, Jason. I think you know what he said. You know what he said? Go Cowboys.
No,
Thank you so much, Jet Li.
He said, go Cowboys. Appreciate you, brother. And marks the 49 points on the stream, boss. So what did you think about that? Because he's saying it's starting to feel a little bit like Jared Goff in L.A. in 2020. Then, even though he believes Dak will be the quarterback next year, sounds like for him, he getting a feeling like the Cowboys are ready to kind of get closer to ushering him out.
That the Cowboys are beginning that transition of, hey, we don't know if we want you here. We're going to start kind of potentially, laying the groundwork for your potential exit. Because, again, even for Jared Goff, it wasn't like it was an immediate thing. Like, that took time, effort to kind of put all together even before they came to the decision, okay, like, we want to trade him. Yeah.
So when I look at things, he don't compare to Jared Goff because, look, since 2019, there's only 3 quarterbacks who've had 3 seasons of 30 or more touchdown passes. Since 2019. Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott. How about Dak's accuracy last year? 69.5% completion, that's number 1 in the NFL. 82.6 on-target throws, that's tied for first in the NFL. Only an 11.6 bad throw percentage. That's second best in the NFL. 6.0 big-time throw percentage. 6%, I guess, is that. That's tied for number 1. 2.2 turnover-worthy plays. That's tied for second best.
Okay.
He doesn't turn over the ball that often. And 105.9 passer rating. That's also second best in the NFL. And also, Dak is the king of the NFC East. 12-2 in his career against the Giants. 9-4 against the Eagles. 11-2 against the Commanders. A 32-8 record against the NFC East for Dak Prescott.
So, Oh, you guys are cracking me up. But by the way, as Modi's throwing out there, Goff didn't put up nearly the numbers that Dak has. No, but, man, I hate to say it, in Goff's defense, he has appeared in the Super Bowl. He has taken, I'm just saying, he has technically won a Super Bowl.
No, he didn't win the Super Bowl. Stafford won.
True, Stafford won it, sorry.
Goff, what he did was, got him to the Super Bowl, lost.
They got there twice, didn't they, with Goff?
No, once with Goff and once with Stafford. They won with Stafford. But the thing is, with Goff, it was the fact that he's not that good with the Rams. At least he's better now than he was with the Rams. But with the Rams, it's about McVay coaching in his ear. That was a difference maker for him. He was good enough to be coached through the ear like that, with McVay as a great coach in his ear. But he's improved, and, maybe some of those years with McVay helped. But the point is...
Jet Li, that freaking sucks. Hopefully Grandma's backyard and everybody in the rest of the house can stay safe. But yes, guys, there's some very intense weather happening right now. In Texas / the general Dallas area. Yeah,
so stay safe, guys, right now. Damn it, stay safe. And if you have internet connection, you can listen to us after this show. Go to MCF After Dark. It's going to be a fun one tonight. You know it. So anyways, let me finish up because I was talking about Dak for a reason. How did he do in practice today? Dak Prescott was, again, phenomenal. Him and Brandon Cooks hooked up again. Last week he talked about him and Dak Prescott and Brandon Cooks truly connecting like they never did last year. Like, this is a whole different kind of connection.
Like, things are clicking now.
Yeah, it's clicking. It's not like an anomaly. It's happening every practice. And it happened again on deep passes. Brandon Cooks has that top-end speed still. And the Cowboys, again, when you look at the Cowboy offense and you look at Dak and Brandon Cooks, you can just see that they're much more comfortable together entering the second year. And again, remember, no Ceedee Lamb there. Yeah. So Brandon Cooks gets he's the number one guy for them.
Yeah, he's able to really get pretty much every single one of those high-value reps.
And that means Jalen Tolbert gets high-value number 2 reps. That means Jalen Brooks gets high-value number 3 reps. So important, even if we don't have Ceedee Lamb, you can look at the positives here. Now, what about the other guys, the other quarterbacks on this team? Trey Lance, who's number 19 now. Mm-hmm. He took the second team snaps in 7-on-7 2-minute drills. They want to see how he did, and according to the media out there, he threw some very good passes. But he was forced to throw to the sideline, and it was tipped up in the air by Josh Butler and intercepted by undrafted rookie Julius Wood. Both guys are undrafted. So Trey Lance was, again, when you look at both media sessions, he's looked very good. Much improved from last year.
I agree.
To the media. So that's a good sign there going forward. Now, what about little man Deuce Vaughn? Guess where he was at? Wide receiver.
Huh.
Yeah, he said after practice that Brian Schottenheimer, and we'll probably hear from Deuce Vaughn, that after practice, Brian Schottenheimer, he says Deuce Vaughn, that Schottenheimer brought up the idea of giving him some work at receiver. Vaughn said he studied Cole Beasley this offseason, and he said it's more viewed as an addition to, rather than him just being switched to receiver. It's an addition to him, than not him being a running back at all, right? So he took running back snaps, and of course he took receiver snaps, like slot receiver snaps as well, like Beasley, the Beasley mindset for Deuce Vaughn.
Again, I think it's really smart of him to basically look at, hey, who are some other short guys that have done really well here in Dallas, and maybe have they done well with Dak? And let's be real, Beasley is, the first guy that comes to mind for me for sure.
Short guys catching the ball, yeah. Now, Zach Martin. Now, as we know, some of these guys are not practicing right now, and you already know Zach Martin's not practicing. He was present, though. He was there at the OTAs, and he did most of the work doing individual drills.
Okay.
But there are no 11-on-11 drills aside from walkthroughs. So during these practices, it gives basically him not being in the mix there is good because it gives the younger players like TJ Bass, Cooper Beebe, Brock Hoffman a chance to kind of get reps with the first team. Mm-hmm. So that's where you're seeing, Zach Martin, he's involved. He's just not getting overworked right now.
So, yeah, it makes sense. By the way, as Modi said, Deuce in space is the right move. So, C-Best is saying, y'all remember Ryan Switzer? Yeah, he was another similar, smaller guy that we ended up, I feel like, moving on a little too soon. Because the Cowboys, did we trade him to the Steelers?
I don't know if we cut him or traded him, but either way, he ended up with the Steelers and bounced shortly after that. Not very much going on for him there. I think he's out of the NFL. He's having some other stuff. I think his child is having issues, unfortunately, medically. Damn. So he's obviously focusing on that.
Definitely wishing him the best. So yeah, but and Dark Raven, shout out to you.
After dark session,
I'll have Mr. MCF, I guess, clear all that. All good. James Hurst said Jerry shouldn't pay Dak. rather lose than have Dak at QB. Facts as a Cowboy fan. I'd rather be 0-17 than have Dak at QB for the next 4 to 5 years. Again, because he feels like the pain of an 0-17 season is a short-term pain to
get better players and move on from Dak.
Bigger and better things without.
Well, here's the thing. The probability is Dak's going to be our quarterback for at least 2 or 3 more years. So I'm just saying, if you really don't want Dak here, get ready to be disappointed. And we're not going to be 0-17 with Dak. We're going to be playoff team with Dak. But how much better can we? I'd rather make a run and add better players to the team with the guys we have than just sit on our hands and just let it waste away. We're wasting away these players' careers and our lives here watching the Cowboys probably not going to win a Super Bowl this year. Well, and not because of Dak Prescott. It's the front office. Anyways. Let me go through a couple last things here on the practice today because I got to get my After Dark session ready. But some kickoff work today. Let's go to the kickoff rule and the work there. Cavante Turpin, Deuce Vaughn, Wanye Thomas, Jalen Cropper, all 4 of these guys took turns.
Okay.
Again, they're trying to see who can do the best. We're going to have 2 of these guys probably back there. So it's going to be interesting to see how these they're working on the short kicks right now, and they're letting it bounce to get a feel for what may be coming for the new rules. So these 4 guys are the 4 best returners. They're letting the ball bounce to them. That's part of the drill. That what you want to know what he's doing. What Fossil is doing. Bones.
Yeah. He's
making sure right now they're not catching the punt like kickoffs now, like a normal kickoff. What they're doing now is just letting the ball roll, bounce to them. It takes weird bounces. Trust me. And you got to get that's a live ball. We don't know what other teams are going to do. So right now they're trying to see who can really corral that ball and really have a good feel for getting the ball off the ground, not catching the ball in the air. That's a big punts are one thing, but kickoffs it's weird because now it's almost going to be like heavily picked up off the ground when it's returnable, not caught in the air. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, which again, like you said, the biggest impact is the fact that the football is going to go all sorts of willy-nilly and bouncing and moving. And
teams are going to kick it purposely like that, like to bounce it around in that 20 to goal line area. So that's a live ball. Remember that. So new rules, we're going to see how that changes there. You already see some new kind of work and drills for the kickoff returners. Now, Jake Ferguson, everyone thought that he was working on basically – he was working on something different because he was not wearing gloves during practice, but he was just sweating too much in his gloves. So he said he switches his gloves each quarter in football games because his hands get so sweaty. Hey, I did not know that about Ferguson.
I'm just glad that he found a way to, work around that.
Yeah. I mean, it could be frustrating and probably makes it, harder to handle the ball when it's thrown to you, that kind of stuff. Now, injuries. It's time for the injuries real quick. Today's OTA media availability for the Cowboys Day, for the media. Who was out of the practice today? DeMarcus Lawrence was undisclosed. I'm assuming it's a veteran day. Osa Odigizua had a hip issue. We know about that. Trayvon Diggs, who's on our Mount Cowboys, all right. We know he has that ACL. He's rehabbing and recovering from the ACL tear. Mozzie Smith with the shoulder surgery. He wasn't there. Micah Parsons, as we said, was not there today. Ceedee Lamb still holding out. Micah's kind of holding in and out a little bit. Ceedee Lamb holding out, again, for voluntary stuff. It's not really holdout. But Micah and Ceedee were not there. And one other guy. Oh, Luke Schoonmaker, guys. Yeah, Schoonmaker. Who, by the way, you look at the tight end situation, he appears to be doing everything he can right now. Keeping engaged with his rehab. He's doing ball drills on the sideline, doing mental reps again. Monitoring those who are on the practice field. Princeton Fant last year was on the practice squad, was an undrafted guy. Currently is rotating with Jake Ferguson on the first team offense. So Schoonmaker to be the first team guy, but now it's Princeton Fant taking those snaps. Interesting.
Which again is
using him there.
I still think that's to me, that's great. So I'm just saying.
We have a lot of tight ends.
I'm just saying, it just feels like, especially now, so many of the guys that we kind of need to get those extra reps and those extra snaps,
getting them,
they are getting the ability. And
here's
to do it.
But why is he getting those snaps? No Schoonmaker, John Stevens Jr. He's still in the ACL rehab. Peyton Hendershot, he was injured last week. He continued to be eased back from a knee and ankle surgery. So, guys, we have like 3 or 4 tight ends missing. That's why we get a lot of Princeton Fant and some of that hyphenated Brevin. I forgot his name, but he's an undrafted tight end, a big guy. So again, the tight ends, we have a unbelievable amount of tight ends and safeties on this team, it feels like. So, finishing the injury kind of update here, guys. By the way, this was the 5th of 6 practices before next week's minicamp. I'm assuming that, I know it says the final day. It's really the last days, today and tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, I think, is one more OTA. But there will be no. I don't think there's going to be any availability from the media. I don't think there's going to be any. There's definitely not going to be any media there. Watching or taking pictures or giving their 2 cents. Remember, this is the same thing as happened Wednesday. It was supposed to be on Tuesday this way. It's going to be Friday instead. But this is just going to be like a walkthrough. OTAs are basically done, guys. So now it's minicamp starting next week. That's what's next Wednesday, I think. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry. Now, another injured guy here, Cowboys cornerback and special teams ace, C.J. Goodwin. Today, he said he's been cleared following his shoulder injury last year that he suffered in Week 5 that basically sidelined him for the rest of the year. Remember, he wasn't sure if he would come back, and he ended up having the surgery. But now Goodwin is looking forward to the more close combat kickoff rules, in addition to his punt coverage work as well. But again, when you look at the new kickoff rule, you can see it's basically trenches there separated by 5 yards. And C.J. Goodwin, he likes this. So, this is made for him. It's made for the returners. It's made for John Foss in the special teams crew here. So, I want to make sure I broke down the guys that were injured. And finishing it up with one last thing here. Again, this was the media availability day. So, all the players were able to talk in a big room, basically. Okay. They also took pictures and videos for the Cowboys when they hear their names, when they do introductions and that kind of stuff for ESPN or ABC or whatever it may be. When you see them on the screen and they're talking, they're rotating around in a circle, whatever it is. They did all their filming stuff today and yesterday, the last couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, who do we see for the first time in a full-out Cowboys uniform for the first time in this jersey? Boom. It's Mr. Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, guys. Again, first look. This is the first look right here. You're seeing it. Running back Ezekiel Elliott in full Cowboys gear, this time wearing number 15. I will say this. It just looks a little weird. It looks different. Yeah, but it feels
bad.
It feels right to me, though. The 15, I know it's from Ohio State, so I can almost see it.
Yeah, but that's the point. He doesn't, again, it looks weird.
But it looks okay.
But it doesn't look wrong.
Yeah. So now instead of 214, now it's going to be 415. I guess it's going to be 154 too, but it's right now they're saying 415. But you know what that means? The rivalry between the Niners, because of course 214 was Dallas area code, 415 is San Francisco area code.
Ouch.
So yeah, the Niners, they're gonna talk crap if they beat us this year again, with the Dak and Zeke combo, that little area code shit. But the last thing I wanted to say actually about a couple of the receivers, 2 of the receivers actually, that are kind of battling it out there for that second. For that third and right now it's second and third, but that's third and fourth spot. Jalen Tolbert mentioned today that he gets with Dak outside of the star once or twice a week. Tolbert.
Okay. He
said, quote, "You can tell that the chemistry is continuing to grow between us. It's special to have a quarterback who believes in you, understands you as a person and as a player." So that's Tolbert's 2 cents. But right behind him is Jalen Brooks. And Jalen Brooks, after practice, said, basically was asked how he's trying to improve his physicality and speed while still working on his lower body strength and stabilization. And he said, quote, "I'm getting off the press really well, being able to maintain my balance, especially after catches. Sometimes I might have to jump for it." And he's kind of a high point guy. He can go up there and get the ball. He's a big guy. Again, he's additionally also been using the sandpit techniques. All right, you saw Jalen Tolbert using it last year to help with route running as part of his training method this offseason. So to run routes better, he's running in sand. So when he's on the field, it's going to be crisper.
We've seen lots of other players do sand training, so to speak.
Jalen Tolbert, one of them.
Build up their speed, build up their endurance.
Well, Jalen Tolbert worked on this last year a lot. We have video of that. This year, Jalen Brooks is on that side of things. So looking forward to see what these 2 young guys at the 3rd and 4th spot right now are going to be doing when we get to training camp and mini camp next week. But guys, that is everything. I don't know if you have anything to say, baby. That's everything I got. The next couple of days when we go live here, next day or 2, we have a couple quotes coming from Brock Hoffman. Who really is talking to us about the battle he has right now with Cooper Beebe and TJ Bass. I think we're going to talk about Kamate Turpin and his return situation going on there. Schoonmaker also spoke about his injury. So a couple of things we're going to discuss just on the horizon for the next couple of days when we go live. But I wanted to get the important stuff done, and we got it done, baby. A little bit later than I wanted to, about 15 minutes later. But, hey, we did a good job wrapping it all up for you guys. I think it's time for the final comments.
Yeah, and the final...
And the shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
I'm shouting out Dwayne Broussard in the star-level membership. El Cuco, who dropped a little love. And Jet Lee 44 gifted 2 memberships and also dropped some love. Thank you guys for the support and the love here on My Cowboys. Cannot do this without your love, help, and support. And input. What is the family saying in the chat, baby? As we do our final shout-outs combo with the last comments.
Of course. James Harris said, those 3 have what Dak doesn't. He played in the Super Bowl. Cog said, Dak was the 135th pick, and Trey Lance, we gave up the 124th pick. So, yeah, and it's a great deal.
You see at the bottom of the screen, right? And we could have got a better deal, probably. But you see at the bottom of the screen, that's our quarterback draft pick this year was given up. We gave up that 4th rounder to get Trey Lance. But I get what he's saying with the combo, comparison of Dak and Trey.
Of course, much love to the man Seabass.
Over everything, baby.
You know it. Let me see. James Herr, Aztec Aguilar 04, Orion Files, of course, Chalk to Montana 808. Let me see who else is here. Dark Raven, take it easy. Jet Lee 44, of course. Let me see. Who else is here? Asmodeus in the house, of course. Much love. Let me see. Raul representing. Sorry, I'm trying to go back and make sure I don't miss anybody, because obviously you guys are chatting it up here in the chat. So, Mike Aldana, much love. Yeah, that's literally as far back as it lets me go, at least on my side. So, let me go ahead. See here. By the way, Ryan Faust said Rex Grossman played in the Super Bowl. Still trash.
Exactly. I mean, you can't go by that.
Yeah, that can't be your only metric.
Not the only one, right.
Aztec, I said, why celebrate going to the Super Bowl, but choking it like Hurts, Goff, and Purdy did? Yeah, no, it's
taken.
Horrible, and I have to admit that I think it would hurt even worse to be that close and then like fumble the bag at the last second. Like, for better or for worse, at least the Cowboys postseason tends to be ripped off very quickly like a Band-Aid. With that said, though, guys, I think that was all the shout-outs for everybody here chilling, hanging with us. Right? Yeah, I read Azteca's comment.
We're good. I see After Dark in the house. Oh, yes, guys.
We'll do that.
Join us for that in a little bit here. Again, you'd have to search that if you don't have a wrench already. You know what I'm saying? So, baby, we wrapped it up here. Pretty good wrap-up for a 3-day wrap-up, basically.
Yeah.
4-day wrap-up. Again, much love to the man, McLovin, who's not just the sponsor of the week, but also the king of the Cash App. Much love to the man, Mark Hovsepian, 49 points in the Stream Boss. And, of course, Jet Lee 44 got his top spot back as a gifting king. Woo. And as the gifting king, he's also trying to go back-to-back because he's in the lead right now. Trying to go for 8 out of 9 weeks in a row, I think, right? Or no, he's 7 out of 8 weeks he's trying to go for as the gifting king. But he ain't stopping just there. He might not have the Stream Boss, but he's coming for that top spot. McLovin got to be careful because Jet Lee 44 is jetting to the top right now. He's in first place on the gifting board, first place on the Cash App board, first place on the overall board. Jason Renfro, a.k.a. Jet Lee, he's making moves. And we might make more moves than After Dark tonight. Some shots maybe, some drinks, some fun, and, of course, some talk. It might be a little political tonight, so we're going to have a little fun over there. Guys, thank you again for joining us here. Baby, any last comments before we get on out? And, try to get a stream in tomorrow depending on the news info. And if there's news and info, we're coming. If not, there's only so much we can do, right?
Let me see. Cogs, take it easy. I think, we shouted everybody out. Baby, why do we do what we do here on the My Cowboys Family side?
I forgot. Let me know.
I think it's because of that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. You see the MCF here, it's always a star over everything. And, of course, on My Cowboys Family, almost 7 years on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Let's try to get it in 2024-25 season so we can join the other Dallas teams in their respective sports with a championship, I hope. Guys, thank you for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. And we go late night on After Dark, so check it out here. Probably starting up in about an hour from now. 45, 55 minutes from now, guys. So appreciate everybody in the house on that side dropping the knowledge in the chat. Of course, cannot do this without your drops of love from above. Thank you, Dwayne Broussard, El Cuco, and Jet Lee 44. And now it's time to drop out and clock out officially for the night. Relock and reload for another episode of the show coming very soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll be here and keeping you guys updated on everything in depth on our Dallas Cowboys as we get ready to get out of here for the night, baby. Before we can officially drop out for the night, tell them what we got to do.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Beat's been dropped. It's a wrap right here, my Cowboys family. And thank you all for stopping in, saying hi, getting in the chat, giving your thoughts. And hey, chilling with us, listening to some Cowboy news, info, and updates. A whole wrap-up of the day, the last 4 days, done here by our MCF, after dark, by our MCF Cowboys chat. Yes, Cowboy, Mount Cowboys. Right now, a lot of question marks on all of them. Contracts on some, injuries on others. Joneses, they're clowning around. McCarthy just trying to get through the season. Unscathed, probably going to get scathed. Here at MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and you know it. That star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, my Cowboys family. Much love to all you guys in the house keeping up with us. Can't do it without you all. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we keep growing the family. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Set it to all videos. And of course, you know you can find us, guys. Follow us on Twitter and X and all the social media at My Cowboys Family. You can join in the Discord and on, guys. If you're watching us on a replay, comment down below and do the other things I just said. All the rest of the information is in our description here down below. Once again, guys, everybody stay safe. Much love. We'll see you guys soon. And never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.